What's good? What's good? What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Justin Henry Show live here on April 20th, 420. As some of you guys may be celebrating live here on the Champions Round here, YouTube, Twitch channels. Make sure y'all hop in the fun, man. Join in, join the conversation. If you guys have any comments, feel free to drop them in the chat. We will get to them very shortly. We got a lot to talk about today. NBA playoff recap from last night, man. There was some games that got out of hand. There was some tension in some games yesterday. So my Lakers took the L, yet it's still got to rep them. And then we got some NFL draft stuff coming up too, and some big news out of the MLB up here in NorCal. Looks like we're losing yet another team. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. But first, I got to talk about the game last night. Obviously, I'm down here in the Lakers hat. And the Lakers lost to the Grizzlies. And, Ja was out. He came into he was supposed to be in that game. He was out. The Grizzlies still found a way to win. But the one thing that came out of that's probably taken, I would say, all the storylines, all the commentary up, is this guy, Dylan Brooks. Who is this guy, right? Be careful. Dylan Brooks, be careful what you ask for. This is the playoffs. This isn't the regular season where you can go back with Draymond Green on his podcast. You can go push people around. You can do your little quirky dance. It's taking over. I get it. You want to play the villain role, but be very careful what you ask for. The Grizzlies split at home. This isn't like the Grizzlies have been dominating this series. They're up 2-0. They're better than this Lakers team. And he had some choice words to say about my guy, about the GOAT, LeBron James. Now, if you're going to swing at the king, you better not miss. That's all I got to say, because this series is going to get intense. I hope he's ready. He's talking about poking a bear and some other stuff in this quote, but I hope he's ready, because this Laker team is not going to back down, and it's not just a bunch of chumps. This is experienced veterans, and Dylan Brooks, you're a nobody. You're an absolute nobody. Stop talking. Nobody wants to hear from you. We want to see Ja back on the court. We want to see this Grizzlies team, and it doesn't include you. You're not the main face of this team. Stop talking, man. He said a quote, man. I got to bring my guy Matt on, man, I got to get his opinion on this, because you know what, Matt? I am pissed. I'm like, bro, you are nobody. You're Dylan Brooks. You're not an all-star. You're not a superstar. You're a role player on a good basketball team. Not even a great basketball team. You're a role player. The only thing you got going for you is that damn mouth of yours, bro.
Game 2. It's a 1-1 series. What are you doing?
Like, against LeBron, I get it. You want to talk against Draymond, he's not lighting you up for 30 points. Like, that's not Draymond. You're going back and forth with, like, another instigator. You're going at the king, the best player in NBA history. Yeah, I get it. He's past his prime, so you want to call it. Still can drop 30 on your head. And then you go and say, oh, the only way to be scared of him is if he drops 40. I don't even know the exact quote he had, but it was, like, disrespectful. If I'm LeBron, I'm coming. That villain LeBron we saw in Boston, the one with the eyes down, he's like the red eyes. I think we see a crazy LeBron in game 3.
No, I agree. I think this is a tremendous mistake. And if I'm a Grizzlies fan, I'm asking myself, Dylan Brooks, what are you doing? Are you trying to sell the series for us? Like, the exact quote, I don't care. He's old. I poke bears. I don't respect someone until he gives me 40.
Until he gives me 40. That's when I'll respect him. Like, LeBron can't hang a triple-double on your head. Like, he can't hang clutch shots on your head, clutch defense, clutch blocks. Now, LeBron hasn't even really kicked it in gear this series. That's the crazy part. This Memphis team is 1-1 against role players, against Austin Reeves, against Rui Hachimura, who's dropping 20 a game for some reason now. Like, against Anthony Davis, who has struggled. LeBron and AD only had 16 total points heading into the fourth quarter yesterday, and it was still a game. Like, they're not going to get that in LA. And the role players are playing well on the road. And Dylan Brooks, of all people, when both games, they could have easily been down 0-2 yesterday if some shots would have fallen a different way.
Yeah, I think this is the Staples Center is going to be rocking for game 3. I think we're going to see a different side of LeBron James come out.
Yeah.
And I think Memphis is in some serious trouble here. I think he should have just shut his mouth, taken the 1-1 series to LA, But instead, it was always going to be Dylan Brooks. It's always going to be Dylan Brooks.
I kind of think he's like Pat Bev to me. He's the guy that talks the most, but he really doesn't bring a huge amount to the table, right? He's a great role player, a good voice, but this Memphis team was already kind of had their backs to the wall. Like if you're up 2-0, you're up 3-0, maybe you're feeling extra spicy, go ahead. Go ahead and go off, King. But you're in a very competitive series with a Laker team that's hungry and has been playing really good basketball. And to go start some shit as the role player now, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson got to be looking at this dude like, bro, we just lost Ja. You going to start more shit for us? If I'm a teammate, I'm like, bro, shut up. I honestly don't get it, bro. I don't get it with Dylan Brooks and where this dude's. He's crazy, man. I get it. You're not scared of nobody. You're the villain, but you're also the 10-point guy on a team that's known for hustle and not going to be guarding LeBron all game.
I just think when I look back at this is going to be the turning point for me in the series. I really think it's going to be 1-1 heading back to LA. I would bet my life LeBron is going to come out in game 3 and make a statement. And we're going to look back at this quote and it's going to be a cold take. It's be one of those things we laugh about. And if I'm a Grizzlies fan, I'm so mad at Dylan Brooks.
We've seen this happen before, right? This isn't the first time random dudes have called LeBron out. You got the Lance Stevenson blowing in his ear in Cleveland. Guess what? They took the L. It's like Pat Bev over there running in his mouth. Guess what? They take the L. A lot of times when dudes call LeBron out, it's funny. There was that quote earlier in the year, nobody fears LeBron, right? Nobody fears LeBron. I think 38-year-old LeBron James is going to be on a lot of players' minds heading into game 3. So there's a lot there. If you had to rank these guys, right, like Dylan Brooks, Pat Bev, Draymond, Lance Stevenson, these are LeBron's nemesis, right? Like a superhero. These are his nemesis, his arch rivals. Who do you think would be who's the top of the list, bro? Because I feel like he's had some dudes that do weird, the Lance Stevenson one of me is probably my favorite.
Yeah,
he's just randomly blowing in his ears, some crazy shit.
That's the best one. We look back, I can look back at the Lance Stevenson one and appreciate the creativity that Lance Stevenson put into it. It's the thing about this Dylan Brooks situation is and even the Patrick Beverley, it's Dylan Brooks. Why are you the one that's instigating all this with LeBron James? You pick on somebody else. No.
Dude, worry about Roy Hachimura.
Yeah,
who's dropping
exactly.
20 a game, right? The only thing I can say from maybe a game planning standpoint is that LeBron hasn't been the guy that needs to initiate the offense in order for this Lakers team to play well, right? He's been a facilitator. The role players are stepping up. The team's tending to go through AD. What that could lead to, and with people like me, with the talking heads, are going to say, I wouldn't take that kind of disrespect. Jordan wouldn't take that kind of disrespect. There's going to be a lot of those heads, and LeBron's going to have to process that because what it might do is take him out of his game. It might steer away from the Lakers' game plan. So with Dylan Brooks, you never know what Memphis's game plan is. It could be hey, if LeBron has the ball more, he's more of a scorer. We're not really worried. Let LeBron drop as many points as he wants because he plays differently. This isn't the old Cleveland Cavs Heat Braun. So from a game planning standpoint, maybe it's the right move. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. But to me, I'm like, nah, that ain't the right move in my opinion. So Ja was out too. There was some expectations that he would be able to play last game. So we could see a very different game 3 with Ja. And we know the stage is already set what happened in LA. We'll see if Shannon Sharp, T. Morant and crew show up for game 3. It could be some fireworks there if we get a little bit of fun. If Shannon Sharp is down there on the sideline again, running his mouth, Dylan Brooks is going to be all over that.
Especially after what happened, especially after this quote. Shannon Sharp's going to say something and, it's going to be fun.
Yo, that will be fun, man. Another series that kind of got a little interesting was this Heat-Bucks series, right? Giannis was out for the game. And we saw the Bucks secondary stars really step up. Brook Lopez led the team in scoring. We saw Drew Holiday put on an awesome performance offensively and defensively. They routed this Heat team. The score was a little bit closer than the story really was. I think this Bucks team is ready, man. It kind of felt like when Giannis got hurt game 1, it knocked the sails out of them, but they have to go into Miami, where Miami actually hasn't been a really great basketball team. Like we've seen Miami in the past play well at home. But the Bucks are heading to Miami for 2 games. I think this series is going to get interesting. I can see the Bucks winning both games, but in very close games.
It reminded me that first quarter when, you've seen the meme where it's like call an ambulance, but not for me. Like that first quarter, I was like, okay, Milwaukee might be in trouble here. And then they scored like 50 points basically in the second and just blew them out. I mean, this is such a deep team. Like Pat Connaughton hit like 6 threes off the bench.
Crazy.
Like it is insane when you look at the depth, and obviously they don't have Giannis. And I think, down the line, they 100% need Giannis. I still think this is a team that gets by Miami.
They got like 2 defensive player of the year candidates in Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez. Both of these guys could win defensive player of the year. So heading to South Beach, I think this Miami team this Milwaukee team showed that they have the depth to overcome even a Giannis injury against an inferior team. Now the Heat, they're tough, they're gritty, so I expect a good performance at least in one of these games at home where they'll make the Bucks sweat. But I do think that the Bucks can go in there and get 2. The series probably extends out to 6 games though, even with Tyler Hero being out. Before we get into the Nuggets Timberwolves, there was some breaking news over the last day or so. The Oakland A's are headed to Las Vegas, bro. All the Oakland, the Warriors left Oakland, they went to the Bay. The Raiders left Oakland, they went to Vegas, and now Oakland has lost their 3rd team, headed to Las Vegas. No more Oakland Athletics. That's a double meaning right there. No more Oakland Athletics there in Oakland.
Yeah, the Cubs beat them so bad they had to relocate after that sweep. I think, I feel for Athletics fans, and, their ownership's terrible, and you knew it was coming at some point, and you just watch games now, and it's sad. But at the same time, for the city of Oakland to lose that many sports franchises, you got to start asking questions. And I don't know. I think this is like a weird situation for baseball because
I think it's, when you start to think about relocating, like I'm not terrible. I'm mad for the Oakland fans because it's a good, the city isn't what it was, but like the fans, the real A's fans who saw those championships in the 80s, who saw a good team, enjoyed the Ricky Henderson, McGuire, Canseco years. Like that was a passionate fan base, and it's kind of started to deteriorate over the years because the team can't spend money. They can't go acquire players, and when they get talent, they got to ship it off. So the fans hardly show up to the games. There's a lot of empty seats out there in Oakland. I get it. So maybe this is one of those moves that, reignites the franchise because the A's are a joke right now. Like I don't even follow baseball heavily. And I know the A's haven't been relevant. And the team, if you're a fan of the A's, it's worse than like the Lions because for a fact that your team has no chance. No chance at winning a World Series. The team's not invested in it. At least if they go to Vegas, now there's some optimism. Could be some money put in. I think it's a good move. If you're an A's fan, like you might have to convert to a Vegas fan, but at the end of the day, at least you got something to root for.
And it's sad because, as you said, like Oakland has a long history of baseball. Like there is a lot there. And this was just a move that was going to happen. It was only a matter of time.
You Know I'm Right, the podcast, shout out to You Know I'm Right podcast, and thank Oakland politicians for all the teams leaving the city. You know what? It's one of those sad things, man. You want to see teams be able to stay. Like I remember in Sacramento when the Kings were about to leave, like the fans, even though the team was bad, the fans cared so much about that team. The Seattle Seahawks, you can see kind of how that is. Even Oakland fans, LA fans for the Raiders. Like there's some prestige and people get attached to these teams, and to see them just up and leave after a extended period of time, it sucks for the fan base, the local fan base, the loyalists. But at the end of the day, money talks, bro.
It does.
Money talks. There's not been a lot of talking in this Timberwolves Nugget series though, Bo. Not a lot of talking. Ant dropped 40 yesterday, played very well. Jamal Murray dropped 40. But this game was ugly for a majority of the game. And so the Wolves try to make it interesting there at the end. This has all the feels of like maybe a gentleman's sweep. Maybe the Nuggets don't sweep them, but I feel like this is going to be a very short series.
Ant, I think it was yesterday, I was kind of trashing Ant a little bit about his playoff performances, and he showed up. Towns didn't play well, and if this team's going to win a game, both those guys need to play. Like they need to play really good basketball at the same time. And I thought maybe I was like, okay, if they win game 2, I'm not saying they're going to make it a series or anything like that, but I was I was a little surprised when I checked because I wasn't even watching the game. I checked the score and I was like, hold up, the Timberwolves are coming back. But eventually, Jamal looked like Bubble Jamal, and they took care of
The
business.
return of Bubble Jamal. If that dude's back, this Nuggets team is going to be a tough out. Like, they were up by a lot of points, and so
Yeah.
I think this Nuggets team is kind of flexing the fact that, like, hey, we're the number one seed for a reason. I'll be interested to see who they match up with next round, and that matchup is about to go crazy. They play tonight, Suns and Clippers. Series tied at 1-1 right now as the series heads to LA. I'm not sure the home court really even means much in this series with Phoenix and LA because both the teams are so talented. It's more like who gets hot, KD or Kawhi, and at the right time, who can get more stops. I'm very curious. We got a really good night of basketball tonight. If you are a basketball fan and you know what's on the slate tonight: Sixers and Nets, Kings and Warriors in Golden State, and then Clippers and Suns. This is a fun night of basketball, and we could see some really good performances here. Who do you think gets the better of tonight? Because we saw Devin Booker really elevate his game, but KD is obviously the clear spearhead of this offense. Who do you think gets the better of tonight, Kawhi or KD?
I got KD going for 35 tonight, and I think the Suns are going to squeak out a
35?
35 for KD.
Okay.
I think we're going to see an aggressive KD tonight. We're going to see kind of a statement game. KD, like you said, Devin Booker is doing his thing right now. I can only, KD gets hot. Devin Booker's playing well. I really don't see how you beat this team. Like this team.
You think KD can drop 35 on Kawhi's head?
I think he's gonna drop 35.
The claw?
I think he's gonna drop 35 on Kawhi. And maybe we'll come in here tomorrow and he'll score 17 points and we can make fun of this comment. But I think he's gonna drop 35. I
want a reaction to that, dude. I said he was gonna drop 35 and he only dropped 17. Like worst game in the playoffs. No, from a basketball standpoint, I think that the Suns figured some things out last game, right? And some of the action that they were spacing KD and Devin Booker really well, right? Getting KD to the spots. It forced the Clippers to play up and also double KD because he got really aggressive in the first half. He took advantage of bad matchups against Westbrook. And when they had any other, Eric Gordon was on him. He was really aggressive in those matchups. So when they started forcing more double teams, this was able to get Devin Booker. That's why he dropped 38 points. So for me, when I look at this series, I think it's going to be a up and down series. We're going to see times where Kawhi, KD guard each other. We're going to see times where Devin Booker goes off. It's really outside of KD and Kawhi, who's going to step up. And so we know the Clippers at home, their role pieces are going to step up, right? We got to assume that the role players for the Clippers can step up. I think they win tonight. I think the Clippers win tonight. Suns are favored in this game, but I still think the Clippers get it done. And then we'll go see a game 4, a very highly contested game 4. I can see the Suns tying this series up as it goes. A little bit of slightly breaking news. The Washington Commanders view Sam Howell as their likely future starter.
Did he start one? Did he only start one game last year? Did he start the last game of the year last year?
He started one game last year.
That is a bold comment to make.
It's going to be slightly dependent. So it looks like there'll be some more clarity after the NFL draft. So obviously, if the Commanders do not go draft a quarterback, we know the answer, right? But to have on the market, some of the guys that are on the market right now that would really fit for this Washington Commanders team as far as veterans, potential trades. Interesting that Sam Howell, what was he, a third, fourth round draft pick last year? I want to say he was a late round draft pick. They view him as their guy. Went after Malik Willis at like Sam Howell.
It kind of reminds me of when the Bears signed to Andy Dalton and they tweeted out QB1 and they drafted Justin Fields. Like, yeah. I could see some smoke in this, and I got to see how things play out. That's a bold.
I have a very, very, very hard time believing the team that named themselves the Commanders last year and got Commander Carson, broke the bank, traded for him, has good draft capital in this draft, and is stuck on Sam Howell as their starter with a brand new ownership that just spent $6 billion on the team, that they're going to lock in Sam Howell as a starter. I don't see that happening, bro. But you talked about smoke screens. And this is smoke screen season. Big smoke screen season. Obviously, we talked about the quarterbacks, how there was, CJ Stroud could potentially be falling to the number 4 pick. Teams aren't wanting to trade up into the top 3. So Smoke screen season is here, but only one quarterback's expected to go in the top 3. Now, CJ Stroud has had a chance to see himself as the number 1 pick here recently and is now falling down draft boards. But could this be strategic? Is there a place that CJ Stroud wants to play? CJ Stroud had the opportunity to go work out for Peyton Manning's passing academy. The night right before, he ghosted him, just didn't show up. And this is according to Brady Quinn. Quote, he said, when you do that, that's going to set up alarms for people. CJ Stroud, is he taking himself down the draft board? What's this guy doing?
I don't know. And I think it was Jalen Ramsey and a couple other players chimed in defending CJ Stroud on that.
What were they saying?
I don't have the exact quote up. If you go to Jalen Ramsey's Twitter, I'm pretty sure he quoted Brady's tweet. I could have been wrong on that. I don't know if you see that up right now. I saw that as I was going to bed last night. I was like, what is this?
Brady's tweet?
I think it was Ramsey quoted it.
Oh, Brady Quinn's tweet. Yep, I see it right here. It says, fake story. Jalen Ramsey's tweet says, fake story, trying to break a kid down before the draft is lame. Ooh, okay. Especially for not going to that camp. I'm sure he wasn't getting paid for. Facts. That's kind of facts. There's one thing about Jalen Ramsey. He's not like Dylan Brooks. Jalen Ramsey be speaking facts.
No, he keeps it real.
Yeah. And he said instead of working, I'm sure he wasn't getting paid for it, and instead working with his teammates. Plus, Brady Quinn, you was a bust. Shut up. You was a bust. Shut up. You should have went to passing academy or two. God bless, though. Hey, he hit him with the God bless, though.
That's the most disrespectful thing you could possibly do.
It's like when when people are like, hey, no disrespect, but, and it's about to be something blatantly disrespectful. That's what Jalen Ramsey just did. Shout out to Jalen Ramsey, man, for defending CJ Stroud. But that's interesting, though. Like, Brady Quinn did come out with the story, and it's like, is this coming out from a team, an organization? It's coming out from CJ Stroud's camp? What's going on? But it looks like Jalen Ramsey tried to clear things up. Unless you're getting paid for it before the draft, maybe you ain't supposed to show up. All right. Some more smokescreen stuff. Mahomes, we talked about him being out in Texas working out with some teammates, right? He had workout with Trey Lance. We've seen Justin Ross come in there and kind of elevate his stock for this season too. A lot of excitement around Justin Ross. But a rookie wide receiver headed to Texas to work out with Pat Mahomes, Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers, who's been recently climbing up draft boards. Now, there's a void at receiver from the Chiefs. Juju Smith-Schuster's gone. Travis Kelce's getting older. And now we're at the time of the draft where Zay Flowers has worked himself very much into the first round conversation when it comes to receivers. You calling smoke, or you think where there's smoke, there's fire?
I think where there's smoke, there's fire. And I think Patrick Mahomes has a lot of pull when it comes to this draft pick. And I think if he tells their general management, I want this guy, I think they're going to go out and get him.
He's the number 10 prospect overall on Mel Kiper's board. And like I said, he's been climbing up boards recently. They did this with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They asked Mahomes if he wanted it. And yes, Mahomes signed off on getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It ain't work out too well. That's the kind of pressure. If I was Zay Flowers right now, I'd be like, bro, I cannot drop this pass.
No.
Like, bro, I got to catch everything. These routes got to be immaculate. So there's a lot of pressure on Zay Flowers. But like, I'm looking at Zay Flowers. This is an opportunity of a lifetime to go be paired up with Pat Mahomes for the first 4 or 5 years of your career. Man, if they get another weapon like him, that's kind of what this team needs. They need an alpha wide receiver to come in there. I know they got Kadarius Toney, but you could either gonna work yourself into a very nice situation, Zay Flowers, or you played yourself. Those are the only two options, Matt. All right. Let's get into some games. Another game tonight. Warriors Kings. We got to talk about it. I'm very excited about this one because Kings are up 2-0 right now. No Draymond, officially suspended. He will not be active for this game, and the team has been complaining about that. They're like, hey, we already paid the price in game 2. He was ejected for the game. It cost us a game. He shouldn't be suspended again, and there's been a lot of differentiating takes on this Draymond thing. Some people think he shouldn't have been suspended for this game. Some people think he should have, right? He's had a history of dirty plays, really didn't show any kind of remorse. I think the suspension was warranted, but I understand it is a playoff game. You think he should have been out this game, or do you think that justice was served?
I think he should have been suspended. If this was like a one-time thing, and if this was like, Steph Curry or something like that, or not even like a super, just somebody that doesn't have the long history that Draymond does, I could maybe give them the benefit of the doubt. But I think this is kind of a statement from the league that we're not going to put up with this.
Yeah, it's I'm glad that it happened, and hopefully Draymond learns from this. Steve Kerr was talking at the podium, and he's like, we can't change Draymond. The coach is saying that they can't really change him. They got to accept him for what he is, and he's the ultimate competitor, right? You hear that a lot about guys who can't control themselves. They call him the ultimate competitor. And that's cool and all, but it's costing your team now.
Yeah.
It's cost your team potentially 2 games as this game goes to Golden State. Now, I think the Warriors have enough to get it done tonight. I think I was a little overreactionary myself. I was like, man, this feels like the Kings could really have the momentum right now. But there's a tide that turns there at the Chase Center. And even without Draymond, this team is deep for a reason. They signed Jordan Poole. Wiggins is back. Kuminga's played at a high level when he's had minutes. We've seen Kevon Looney really step up this second half of the season in the playoffs. So I'm not too mad at this, but Kings fans, if you're trying to go to the game, they said no cowbells. No cowbells at the game. Bob Myers came out and said they not allowing cowbells at the game. So could get interesting here, man. How you feeling about the game tonight?
I'm going to go with the Warriors. And if they lose this game, then I'll come on here tomorrow and I guess I'll give the Kings my flowers, because I don't see any way that Golden State, like the energy in that building, they have their backs against the wall. You got guys with championship experience that realize what's on the line here. I fully expect the Warriors to get it done tonight.
I do too. And I think against this Kings team, it's not necessarily Draymond that's the main piece. Obviously you want to have Draymond on the floor, but it really is how these role players step up and adjust to this Kings team that's putting pressure on them offensively and defensively. Defensively, this Kings team was the worst team in the league. Yeah. We saw Davion Mitchell, Harrison Barnes, guys really step up defensively against the Warriors and cause trouble for Steph Curry. Matthew Dellavedova is on this team, and he's had experience guarding Steph Curry and a lot of success in doing so. So I think the Warriors get the win tonight. I expect them to win somewhere in that 5 to 10 point total range. I think the Kings keep it very close. It wouldn't surprise me if the Kings win this game, but that's about where I got it. This is a must-win game, obviously, for the Warriors. I think they play that way. Now, when I think about the Kings, is there a way that you could see this thing going 7? Like, that's kind of the direction this thing's going in now. Are the Kings that much better than the Warriors? Or is there still a puncher's chance for the series? Because a lot of people are counting the Warriors out now.
I still have it going 7, and I think Golden State's going to win both their home games, and we're going to head back to Sacramento. I don't think this Warriors team's going to fold. And
they're resurgent, man. Like they did not give up.
And
or resilient. I said resurgent, resilient.
And even in game 2, Clay hit a couple big threes to cut the deficit, and the Kings were just too much there at the end. And like you said, Draymond let his teammates down. He did. They needed him out there, and it showed towards the end of the game. Now, if Sacramento were to steal a game, you'd imagine it'd be game 3 with no Draymond. But I think these veterans, these superstars of Klay Thompson and Steph Curry realize just how important this is.
They have to. They have to. And I think Clay's a guy I expect to step up in a big way. I think we get to see some Kuminga tonight, too. So I'm thinking some of the younger guys step up. And obviously, no cowbells there. This Sacramento Kings team, I think they're going to travel well. When we talked, you weren't on the show the other day, but Leo B is from the Sacramento Kings, came on. He's a beat writer for the Kings. Came on and was talking about the energy in the Golden One Center, right? And he's seeing 95% of the fans were Kings fans, right? And so normally the Warriors are the team that travels. They get half the building is Warriors fans, especially up here in Sacramento. But in the Bay, I think that the Kings, as much as they were paying for tickets out here in Sac, I think the Kings are going to travel well. How crazy, how insane would it be if we get to light that beam chant in Golden State, bro?
Yeah, I think was it Mike Brown that said it was I think it was after game 1 or game 2 was the loudest stadium he's ever been in. And, I think these Kings fans realize they have something special. And, if they'd lost the first 2 games, they're heading back to Golden State down 2-0. I think it might be a little different. But being up to, seeing what possibly could happen here, I think they're gonna go all out. I do.
As it stands right now, I've flip-flopped on this a lot already because my initial take was Kings in 7. When Wiggins and Gary Payton second came back, I said Warriors in 7. I kind of leaning Kings in 7. And the Warriors problems that have hampered them all season, their road struggles, their chemistry issues, Draymond Green kind of being, involved in a lot of on the court antics. I'm thinking the Kings get it done, man. And shout out to Mike Brown, bro. Coach of the year. The Sacramento Kings are like, those guys are like Jay-Z when he goes to the Emmy Awards and he wins every award. That's what it feels like the Sacramento Kings are doing, bro.
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox, most clutch player. Monty McNair's probably going to win Executive of the Year. Mike Brown winning Coach of the Year. Shout out to the Sacramento Kings, man. Completely changed this organization around. All right, man. Let's get into the last game. This one's kind of boring, man. I'm not gonna lie. The Sixers Nets series is kind of boring, bro. Like the Nets came out early in game 2, got a lead. They were playing well, and it's like the Sixers just continue to bully them. Do you feel like the Nets are gonna win any game this series? Because I'm on the side of like, if the Nets are gonna win a game, it has to be game 3.
Yeah.
Like at home, first game, they got to get it done.
Yeah, and I think we were talking about like Cam Johnson, and we were looking at his like for the daily dozen, we are looking at his over. I think it was 2.5 threes, and he went off there in the first half.
Smashed it, bro.
Smashed it. Yet, there's Philadelphia just rolling with the punches, doing their thing. They just have so much talent. I think part of me believes the Nets do have a real chance tonight. And I think
so?
they have enough guys that can step up. Spencer Dinwiddie has to play better. He is just not. He's just ever since those damn comments about Kyle Kuzma, man. Like, what are you doing, bro? You're about to start a series against the 76ers and you're commenting on Kyle Kuzma. I do think there's a shot here. I'd have no idea. I'm assuming the 76ers are slight favorites.
Yes, Sixers are favorites.
Okay.
But you got to lock in. Like all these guys kind of like subtweeting this. Like before the game, I don't know if you saw this. Before the Suns and Clippers game, about 45 minutes before, there was some kind of like meme or post on the Bleacher Report page, right? Somebody said something funny. I can't remember the exact post now. But KD was in the comments laughing 45 minutes before the game starts. And like, bro doesn't have the best history with like social media and tweets and everything like that, burner accounts. But like, bro, lock in on the game, dog. You got a game in 45 minutes and you're commenting laugh emojis before the game starts. And it was some kind of like meme post. It wasn't even like a serious post. You would think with one of the bigger games of your career on the line down 0-1, you're going to lock in if you're KD. But these guys, bro, they be all over the place when it comes to the games. I hope that this Nets team does get focused because Jacques Vaughn said they found something in game 2 and that they were ready to lock in. So if the Sixers can get, like, I feel like the Nets, if they can figure out any kind of way to disrupt this James Harden, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey pairing, they may have a shot because we've seen Doc, we've seen James Harden blow big leads in the past.
Thing. Yeah, and Maxey went crazy in game 2. It's just like, I don't know. I think if maybe they could win tonight, we could be talking game 4, but we'll see.
We will. We're gonna play Daily Dozen here in a minute, bro. We got to get 12 for 12. When Cam Johnson hit those, it was like 3 or 4 threes in the first quarter.
Just
destroyed it. I was like, bro, we're about to hit tonight. I think we lost a couple later, but 12. We're gonna go 12 for 12 at some point this season before the playoffs. And I feel like we gotta hit it. But you guys want to play Daily Dozen? Download the Champions Round app. You guys will have a chance to play. Before we get into that, though, I'm kind of pissed off, though. Not gonna lie. The scheduling for tonight's games. We got the Sixers and Nets early, and we have 2 games on at the same time. We got the 2 best games, the 2 best series of the NBA playoffs are going to be on at the same time. Suns and Clippers, Kings and Warriors. And as a fan, it's like you want to be able to watch both. So to me, if I'm going to pick a game right now, the series that I want to watch is probably the Kings Warriors because it'd be interesting to see how this Warriors team does at home. which game, if you're going to tune on one game, you're like, I'm forced to pick one game to watch. Which one?
And here's the frustrating thing, Justin. The Clippers game's at 10:30 start time for me. Like, that's late. That's late. And no disrespect to the Nets or the 76ers, but I don't want to sit there like, for 2.5 hours. That's the standalone game. And then suddenly, I get 30 minutes of the Kings Warriors. And then suddenly I'm flipping back and forth between the Clippers game. I lean Kings versus Warriors, but I think if this matchup happens like down the line, if it's game 5 or something like that, I love like the player matchups in the Clippers Suns, like getting to see Kawhi Leonard versus Kevin Durant. Like, that's something as an NBA fan you just dream about all of the regular season. You hope to see something like that, but I want to see the energy at the Warriors game. I want to see how they rebound, or they rebound after that 0-2 deficit. So I think I lean Kings.
Yeah, Kings Warriors, man. We know Chase Center is going to be electric. I think we'll be able to feel the energy through the TV. You mentioned a good point though, bro. I got to look at the scheduling, because I haven't looked at it like that far down the line. But what happens when we have Suns and Clippers and Lakers Memphis in LA on the same night? Or we have Kings Warriors on the same night. Like, we might have 2 game 6s or game 7s on the same night, bro. And it's like, as an NBA fan, as a hoop fan, especially with what we're getting, like the product we're getting on the court right now, I want to be able to watch that. So maybe I just got to maybe I'm just the broke guy that doesn't have 2 screens. And I got to get the NBA pass and League Pass and TNT and the Hulu, all access. Like, it just feels like there's really good basketball on it. I'm kind of disappointed that we're not gonna be able to watch both. Like, I want to watch these games. I love watching Kawhi versus KD. I love watching Steph go up against this new Kings team. Like, De'Aaron Fox turning into one of the best players in the league. So I hope we get a chance to watch them both, man.
Justin, I think they should have moved one of these games to tomorrow night, because I'm looking tomorrow. We have Celtics, Hawks, Cavs, Knicks, Nuggets, Timberwolves, right?
Yeah.
Cavs, Knicks, that's a fun series, but come on now. Celtics versus Hawks and Nuggets versus Timberwolves. Like, they should have moved one of these games to tomorrow and let them both be standalones. Like, I that's in my personal opinion. I think, these are the 2 most exciting games out of the next 2 days.
Well, us as fans, obviously, we don't get to dictate like scheduling and traffic there and all the other stuff, but it is kind of disappointing to see. But you mentioned this weekend, bro. There's actually a fight going on this weekend. I don't know if you follow boxing a whole lot. I'm not a big, like, I used to be more of a boxing fan when like all the heavyweights were good, but now we get a lot of like the little guys who are good. A social media star, Ryan Garcia, he's kind of come on. He's a real boxer now, and he's not like this super like famous. He made his build, like his following on social media. That's how he kind of gained his clout. Going up against Tank Davis, who is one of the best boxers pound for pound right now. They're going to be fighting this weekend. They were on live stream on that streamer Kai Sinai. I've seen a lot of his stuff. They were on his live stream earlier this week, and they were about to put it all on the line, the entire purse on the line, the entire winnings of the fight was going to go to one person. I doubt their managers are going to allow that. But it should be a good fight, bro. Like, are you aware of like either of these guys? You know how they box or anything?
So I'm a big UFC fan, and I'm not gonna lie, I only tune into boxing for like the big matchups. Like, I'll tune in for like Fury versus Wilder, or if Canelo's fighting, something like that. I am very aware of this fight. I feel like I've watched probably 3 or 4 of Ryan Garcia's fights, and you know how it is early in boxing. They just like build them up, so they fight against like bums,
like 15-0. Every boxer's like
15-0 because they're literally fighting guys that have a combined like 4 wins in fucking 10 matches. But anyways, I'm excited for this. Like you said, I remember like Ryan Garcia watching him, like his YouTube highlights of him like on the punching bag and stuff like that.
He had he used to do the thing where like they would wear the body bag and he's like giving him like a 3-punch challenge. You see some of the guys, remember Juju was on there?
Yes.
Juju Smith-Schuster, he was on there and he was like taking the punches. You just see him kind of like fall down, bro.
I'm sure the Steelers were loving that.
Yeah, like offseason, hey Juju, get locked in, and you're like taking punches from a professional boxer. Smart kid, bro. Oh my God. It should be a good fight though, but let's get into it, man. We got some action for tonight. So let's get into these daily dozen, bro. And we got a hit, man. We talked about this daily dozen. And if you guys want to play along with us, we're going to do this damn near every episode. Head into the app Either play for free. You'll see our rankings up there because we're going to be at the top and we're going to go 12 for 12 one day. So you play for free, or you could pay. You could play for $12. It's really easy to join. Cash, whatever the amount is. I think it's $12. You get in there. Try to multiply your money, man. You get all 12 right. You 100 extra money. It's 50 extra money. It's something crazy like that. But this is going to be fun, man. So obviously you can get a deposit match too. Promo code is right below. Go ahead and get it in there. But let's get on this daily dozen, bro. 100x on the money, man. We going 100x this thing.
We're gonna hit that.
We are. All right, let's get in here. Tonight, the very first prop on the board, Joel Embiid, points, rebounds, and assists. I love these ones, points, rebounds, and assists, because it gives you a little bit of flexibility. Like, we haven't seen Joel score as much this series as he has in past. The Nets are like sending double teams his way every single time he gets the ball. 45.5 points, rebounds, and assists. You like the over or the under for that?
I'm pretty sure Embiid had like 19 rebounds in game 2. I as you said, scoring wise, I'm not sure where that's going to fall tonight, but you're giving me rebounds and assists. I'm taking the over.
Yeah, I'm taking the over because this is a guy like, yeah, they're sending double teams, but Joel's going to figure this thing out at some point. So unless the Nets just come in and have this exuberant strategy to shut down Joel Embiid, who's the league leader in scoring, I don't see the assist numbers being there. He'd probably get 2 to 3 assists. But you mentioned it, 19 boards last game. He's finding other ways to get active. So we can get 20-20 game out of Joel Embiid, 25 and 15. It's a good start right there. I'm going to go with the over for Joel Embiid. It's going to be close to that number, though. I feel like it's going to be close. All right, next up, Mr. Three-Pointer, Mr. Celebration. I love that celebration, bro. That's got to be like top celebration of all time. Is that top 10 of all time celebration-wise?
That might be a little early, but I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt there because it is sick. Like,
I'm being a prisoner. I'm being a prisoner of the moment. I'll take it because it's like that celebration is nasty. I know he stole it too, but that's still like, you got other guys in the league. My kid, he'll do that on his AAU team. Like, you got the little kids out there doing it back. Yeah, drain a 3 from the corner. He's just like Mikal Bridges, points, rebounds, and assists sitting at 34.5 tonight. And, Mikal, we've seen him elevate his level of scoring too. I think I'll go with the over on this one as well. Like, I kind of like, I feel like the number, he's been really active. And if the Nets have any chance in this game, they need a big game from Bridges.
I agree with that.
But next up, we got Tyrese Maxey, who dropped 33 in game 2. His points, rebounds, assist total sitting at only 25 today. And he's been a little up and down this season. Like, we've seen really good play from Tyrese Maxey at time, and we've seen really bad play from him. And this is a matchup where if Embiid is getting doubled and we do miss on that first one, the 45.5, the team is going to need Maxey. How are you feeling about it?
I'm going to go under here strictly because earlier in the show, I said the Nets were going to keep it close. And I think if Tyrese Maxey has a big game, I don't really see a way that this Brooklyn Nets team can get past Philadelphia. So I'm going to take the under and say he's going to have I'm not going to say
it's a lackluster game coming from Maxey.
I'm going to say it's going to be a little bit of a disappointing performance from Maxey tonight.
I can see it being a disappointing performance from Maxey because Embiid plays well. Like, the double teams, I know those are frustrating Embiid, but I feel like he's going to adjust. They have to scheme for that, right? Doc Rivers has to scheme for that. And you don't see too many stretches of games where Embiid doesn't score in the 30s. He doesn't have a big game. So, especially if this thing gets out of control, I can see the Nets getting, them scheming some things up to get Embiid in space. I kind of like that number, but if you guys want to play on the app, look, we're literally doing this thing live. Doing it live on the app right now. I hit that under button for Maxey. I don't feel confident about it, Matt. I'm not going to lie to you, but I'm rolling with your pick because we got to hit this 12. Next up is your boy, Spencer Dinwiddie, a.k.a. Mr. Beefing with Kyle Kuzma. Points, rebounds, and assists sitting at 28.5. It's kind of a high number for Dinwiddie.
Yeah, that seems a little high. I don't think I mean, he's going to have to probably score, 18, 19 points to hit this number, I'd assume. Yeah. I kind of like the under. What about yourself?
I kind of like the over in this one because I feel like if I'm kind of on, you know what, if there was a line involved, I would be on the Nets. Okay, like, I'm not excited about this game. I think the Sixers can still win this game, but I would be on the Nets side of things if I was playing the number. But we're not. We're playing daily dozen, and I'm going to go with points, rebounds, assists over with Spencer Dinwiddie. I think he'll distribute, and I think he can score. So give me Dinwiddie because I think the Nets keep it close tonight at home. All right, Sabonis heading to San Francisco, heading to the Chase Center. Sabonis, who's been, there was some other stuff that came out about Sabonis, right? Before we get into his points, rebounds, assists. How do you feel about the comments the Warriors are making saying that Sabonis is using the ball as a weapon? Like, he's playing dirty, and so he's using the ball on rebounds. He's using his elbows, but then also using the ball as a weapon to hit people. I kind of feel like the Warriors are grasping at straws here right now.
Yeah, that, especially for somebody like Sabonis that doesn't really have much of a history with that seems like a bit of a reach for me.
I think they're just trying to make up for the fact that Draymond is doing whatever the hell he wants on the floor. And it's like, Sabonis, he's known as the Ox. Like, there hasn't been a whole lot that's ever come out about Sabonis being this super dirty guy. But now all of a sudden, Draymond is getting suspended. And now we see Draymond, who has a very extensive, we can probably pull up like a 5-minute clip of Draymond just doing dirty shit.
Sure, there's a reel of it. I bet there is out there on YouTube. There's probably a reel.
There is, right? But Sabonis, it's not like we got a history of this guy just doing dirty stuff. So to hear this come out right before game 3, a little suspect on the Warriors side, in my opinion. But his points, rebounds, and assists sitting at 39.5 against the Warriors tonight.
What do you think? I'm kind of on the fence about this one. You're going to go, I was kind of leaning under.
Okay, I feel like they've been, Sabonis hasn't really had a strong showing yet in the first 2 games. He's put up the numbers, but it hasn't been like this superior all-star level, potential all-NBA level for Sabonis. He has been playing, I think he's been playing into like the Draymond matchup a little bit too much. So I think he's feeling the physicality of this. And then, when you go to Chase Center, things happen. So I'm going to roll with the under. I think he can get around 18, 10 boards, 3-4 assists. I don't think he gets 39.5 though. That's a big number. All right. Speaking of big numbers, Steph Curry, points, rebounds, and assists. I love that they're doing points, rebounds, and assists.
This is great. I'm loving this.
Better than just straight points tonight. 44.5 points against the Kings. How we feeling?
I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over at home. I think Curry has like 6 or 7 threes, drops like 31 points tonight, and the Warriors take the win.
Let's go over, baby. Let's go over. Big performance from Steph. I don't know. The Kings have been defending him very, very tightly. So only thing I would say about that is that if he's going to hit that number, the rebounds and assists have to be there. Yeah. I don't know if he gets 30 tonight.
That's true. Draymond's out, so ball movement, stuff like that.
He's going to be facilitating a lot more. So I think that actually, you're right, because he will be more facilitating and playing that ball handler role. So maybe more of the assists will come on. Maybe we almost get a triple double out of Steph.
Ooh.
All right, a couple more. We got De'Aaron Fox, 37.5 points, rebounds, and assists. How you feeling about that one?
I'm gonna go over. I think Fox is that dude. I think
he is.
I think he's that guy.
Fox is him. Moving on to Klay Thompson. I think both you and I will probably agree on this one. He's sitting at points, rebounds, and assists at 31.5. Klay Thompson must have a big game. We know Klay Thompson will show out tonight. Let's go over on that one.
Over
31.5. KD, points, rebounds, and assists, 41.5 against the Claw in the last game of the evening against the Clippers. I would lean under on this one. I feel like, I know how you feel about it. I'm going to go under. I think this matchup is tough for him. I think Devin Booker gets off, but 41.5 is a lot. I know you got him pegged for 35, so you want to go over. We're locking in the over. You said 35.
You said 35.
You called your number.
Go back on what I said earlier in the show. I just can't.
You can't. We don't play defense on this show. You make a take, you stand on that shit. And you know what? KD rocks number 35. He used to rock number 35. What's he wear now?
Is he back at 35?
Is he back? I think he's back at 35, right? He dished a 7.
Yeah, it went to 7, then I think he's back to 35.
So you got 35 on the chest. You got to drop 35. Let's rock into over for that.
Over.
Yeah, because we don't get the rebounds. Now, Mr. Kawhi Jordan. You know when he hit that shot, I called him Kawhi. That was like I was yelling out Kawhi Jordan when he hit that shot in Toronto years ago. That was crazy. But Kawhi Jordan, a.k.a. Kawhi Leonard, points, rebounds, and assists, 42.5 tonight.
It's Kawhi. Like, playoff Kawhi is different. 42, that's a big number, though.
That is a big number.
What do you think? You want to go over? Okay, let's have some fun. Let's go over.
I don't like taking two. You know what? Let's go under. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go under because Kawhi's had some big performances, but I also do expect the role players for this Clippers team to step up tonight. Like that's when you go home. A lot of times, your role players, especially in the earlier games of the series, the role players tend to step up. So let's go with the under on that one. Devin Booker, points, rebounds, and assists, 39.5. And we've seen him kind of take on a larger scoring role. So it'll be interesting to see how the Clippers defend that the rest of the series. I think at some point they'll make some adjustments, but 39.5 for Devin Booker tonight. I'm locking in whatever you say.
Under. I'm going to go under.
Under it is. Under it is. All right, and then the last one for our daily dozen, Mr. Russell Westbrook, decked out in Laker gear.
I know, I saw that.
I'll take it. Hey, but for the Clippers, points, rebounds, and assists sitting at 33.5. He's found a way to get things done multiple ways this series, whether it's rebounding, defense, points, assists. 33.5.
What do you think here? What do you think?
You know what? Let's bring in our boy Nick to come in and get this last one. If Nick wants to come in, we got to hit this daily dozen. It's going to be a collaborative effort on all accounts. We got to have our boy Nick in there. Nick Durst, the producer in the back. Nick, what's good, bro?
How's it going, guys?
Oh, we live in large, man. Trying to knock out this daily dozen and get 12 right. Russell Westbrook sitting at 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists. We got to get 12, man. We need your help, dog. We need it.
Yeah, you got to go over. Mr. Triple-Double. Guy's an assassin, and he's playing his best right now against Durant.
Dude is playing. All right, bring his best effort. Russell Westbrook, we're locking that in.
This is the one. This is the one.
It's got to hit. And if y'all want to play Daily Dozen with us, head over to the Champions Round app. Lock your picks in. We are locking this one in, submitting it, and we are in the contest. Make sure you guys join us for that one. There was, Nick, I know you're a big baseball guy too. There was some interesting baseball news that came up outside of the A stuff, right? That was probably like the top story. But Max Scherzer got pulled from the game, is probably going to be suspended for 10 games.
Bit of a sticky situation. Yeah.
Sticky, very sticky situation. What's going on? Because Scherzer's always been a guy. I've always thought he's like one of the best pitchers in the league. What's going on with that dude, man?
Well, he goes out there. They look at his glove, the umpires. Phil Cuzzy, he's the crew chief, and Dan Blino, the home plate umpire. Look at his glove, and they said, it doesn't look right. It looks a little too sticky. Go to the locker room, get a new glove. So he comes back out with a new glove, and they're not happy about it. They told him to wash his hands or something. He used the new glove. He comes out again. He had to wash his hands in front of an MLB official. He comes back out, and they don't let him pitch. They said, your hand is too sticky. Quotes came out from the umpires today that they never seen a hand so sticky. What's interesting here, guys, is the fact that the umpire who ejected him is the only umpire who's ever ejected any pitchers for having their hands too sticky. So it's the same guy as a pattern now. Domingo Germán last week with the Yankees, they stopped the game. They thought his hand was too sticky, but they just let him wash it, and he kept pitching. I think the league is out to get Max Scherzer. If you remember during the lockout 2 years ago or last year, he was pretty much the head of the union. He was leading the charge. He voted no against the current CBA, giving the owners a hard time. So they don't like the guy. But
sticky situation, man. And to see Scherzer be the guy that they kind of go into, there's a bunch of jokes I had in my head when you started talking about the stickiest hands. And I'm like, all time, bro. There's a lot of sticky situations.
Scherzer was very adamant afterwards that he had to do a press conference after. So why didn't the umpires do a press conference after to hear what they say? But Scherzer said that he'd have to be an idiot to go back out to the mound after being checked originally with sticky stuff, because he knew he was getting checked again.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
He said he was very adamant. It was a combination of sweat and rosin. Now, Justin, you're in Northern California. You spent some time more in Southern, but I just think probably if it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon in LA, you're probably going to be sweating a little bit. It's probably going to be close to 90 degrees.
A huge sweat guy. I don't know about that, bro. These guys have been saying that kind of stuff. Oh, it's just this. I took the wrong pills. It's just sweat. Well, look at a guy like Max Scherzer. He got two different color eyes, so maybe he decided he was looking at things a different way. You know what I mean? So maybe he meant to.
The other interesting angle on this is the fact that he used to play for the Dodgers for a brief period. So maybe Dave Roberts knew something about his routine, and he told the umpires, check this guy, because he was doing well. The spin rate was too high or whatever. Surprisingly, the Mets manager, Buck Showalter, did not go ballistic. He did not flip out. But the Mets won the game, but now they're going to have no Scherzer for the next 10 days.
No Scherzer for the next 10 days. Well, Nick, appreciate you dropping that on us, man. Is he cheating? He might be cheating, bro. I don't know. I don't like cheaters. So hopefully Max Scherzer is not.
I think these umpires better check LeBron's hands tonight.
They're going to have to check a lot, man. And so will Dylan Brooks when they play. But yeah, there's an interesting slate, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We had a pretty jam-packed show today. So if you caught the end of it, head back, watch the beginning of it, bro. We dropped a bunch of gems on the games, playoff series, NFL draft. Tomorrow, going to do a mock draft. Mock draft season is here. Do a fantasy mock draft for Dynasty League. So we'll do the first 2 rounds. Dynasty, we'll talk about it. This is obviously pre-draft, but it should be a fun show. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out.